Alright, y'all, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. We're looking at the Netherlands today, and look, every video I've seen about this country has been extremely interesting. A very fascinating country, and quite frankly, a country I didn't know too much about, before diving in on this channel. I'm getting a lot of suggestions lately to do some more, and that's what we're going to do. This video is about discovering the Netherlands, the best organized country in the world. 70 fascinating facts. It's from a newer channel called All About Europe. So make sure to check them out. They'll be linked in the description down below, and browse their stuff, okay? Now, of course, with any facts video, take it with a grain of salt, right? I think a lot of it's going to be interesting and, fairly accurate. Some things might be a little bit off, or some cool facts might be missing. That's where you come in the comments, okay? Because I do appreciate you guys. I always learn more, honestly, from the people in this community, in the comments and emails and things than I do even from videos. So I do appreciate you guys. This was suggested on Discord by Gerben T. So thank you so much. Let's go ahead and roll the video and see what we can learn. Here we go.
The Netherlands is one of the most prominent countries in Europe, especially for lovers of arts. After all, it is home to one of the most...
First of all, I'm going to pause a lot. That's how this works, okay? Look, this is just striking, right? I mean, everything I've learned so far in the very few videos I've seen is very impressive, right? The things that have stuck out to me has been like, for one, they have like amazing transportation efficiency. Everyone uses like bicycles, right? The way their traffic flow and their lights work, are some of the things we've looked at, and it's just fascinating, right? Totally different world than here in the U.S. Not to mention the aesthetic. I mean, look how beautiful it is.
Most prolific 19th century painters, Vincent van Gogh. But it's much more than that. Renowned for its innovative urban planning, tulips, canals, water management, and liberal attitude, this is a must-visit location for tourists. In this video, we will shed light on all the fun things hidden in this beautiful European nation. Get ready to learn all the fascinating facts about the Netherlands. 1. The Netherlands was known worldwide as Holland for a long time.
Right.
However, it is not an actual name but was only a nickname for the Dutch country. 2. It has one of the highest population density.
Is that true? I know, don't people still, to a degree, like sometimes refer to it as Holland? Isn't that considered acceptable? I really don't know, so let me know in the comments. I think it is, right?
3. The Netherlands holds the distinction of being the world's second largest exporter in the agricultural sector. In fact, it is the world's main producer of cheese, peppers, tomatoes, and cucumbers. 4. Amsterdam, the Dutch capital, has more canals than Venice, Italy. 5. One-third of the Dutch territory, roughly speaking, is below sea level, while another one-third is very close to the official zero measure level. 6.
Now that's something I've heard of, I think, from you guys, and maybe have seen on like a couple different like map things. That is interesting, right? How it's like really kind of under sea level or at sea level. It's kind of I don't know how it is there, but I know that's kind of like a problem with a couple states like Louisiana in the U.S., Florida, right, are really like at or below sea level, and they're really flat, and they're, a lot of, like, for example, Louisiana has been kind of eaten up by rising sea levels, so that's kind of crazy. Isn't the Netherlands pretty flat, right? It's not very mountainous like a lot of countries around there. So.
The Dutch are known for their innovative approach to water management, including the construction of delta work to protect against flooding. 7. The Netherlands ranks among the top 5 happiest countries in the world. 8.
Cool.
And not only in the happiness index, but the Dutch are also the healthiest in the world when it comes to diet. The Netherlands ranks number 1 for having the most plentiful, nutritious, healthy, and affordable food. 9.
Okay, so how do you do it, right? I mean, how can you argue with that? That's two lists you really want to be top ranked on, and they are. They're in the top 5 or whatever they said. Like, one of the happiest countries on earth, and arguably the healthiest country on earth. I think you guys got to figure it out. Share your secret.
The Netherlands boasts a total of 20 national parks within its borders.
Now that I didn't know.
Some famous ones are the Hoog Veluwe, Bijbosch, Zuid-Kennemerland National Park, and Oosterschelde National Park. Dutch cuisine includes traditional dishes such as urwensoep, green pea soup, stamppot, mashed potato, meat and vegetable, haring, raw herring, and bitterballen, deep-fried meat and stew balls. 11. Rotterdam is Europe's largest port and a major hub for international trade. 12. Flevoland, a province in the Netherlands, is a polder, a piece of land reclaimed from underwater.
Whoa,
it was created
no
from the
way.
Zuiderzee, a former inlet of the North Sea. So, Flevoland is literally land that was once underwater.
Okay, that's
13.
crazy.
One prejudice about the Dutch is that they can be greedy, which has even led to the term going Dutch, which means that everyone pays for themselves when participating in a group activity.
Greedy, is that the right word? You'll have to tell me. I don't want to start fights in comments. You'll have to tell me that's true. Greedy. Maybe like commonly joked about or used in even the U.S., right? Like, oh, we're going Dutch, right, on a date or whatever. I thought that they were like frugal, which is, I don't think, an insult. Like being frugal, like just not wanting to spend a lot of money, right? Like wanting to save and try and get deals and not blow money left and right. I think that might be more applicable, right? Being greedy? Damn, that's pretty harsh.
14. The Netherlands is the
don't know.
world leader in cultivating and maintaining flowers and plants, and it is a significant part of the Dutch economy.
Seen a video
Tulips are
on
the
that.
most widespread flowers in the country,
Those are
and
nuts.
may be found
Yeah,
in
that's so
public
cool.
parks and many gardens. 15. The
So
Dutch
cool.
flowers are so famous that there's even an attraction park called Keukenhof Gardens, also known as the Gardens of Europe, where you can find beautiful Dutch tulips among other flowers.
You know what? Anyone that has suggestions where I can just either look at them online, go to Google Earth, or if there's videos, whatever is the best way to do it. I've had people over the last few months hint at like looking at some really famous like big gardens in Europe. I think that would actually be really cool. Something I really haven't explored yet, other than just looking at the tulip fields in, of course, the Netherlands I've looked at before, and they're just spectacular, right? So yeah, if anyone wants to shout out some really cool gardens I should look at, and whether it's in this country or anywhere throughout Europe, that would be awesome. I think that's something I would like to explore soon.
16.
I think that'd be
Another
cool.
nice place to visit is Giethoorn, a picturesque village surrounded by canals in the country's eastern part. When you visit this village, don't forget to take a boat trip. 17. The Netherlands takes its love for bicycles to the next level with a staggering number of over 22 million bicycles, outnumbering the country's population of 17 million residents.
Holy
It's a pedal-powered paradise.
That is cool. Definitely bicyclist paradise, I've always heard, is like Amsterdam, the Netherlands as a whole. That sounds really fun, quite frankly, because I am someone who just does not ride a bike enough. I love it. I just don't do it a lot, and that's a shame, right? Because I really do like it. It just depends on who you are. Some people have it locked in the U.S. where they're able to ride a bike a lot, and some cities here do it better than others. Of course, none of them are really set up like this, right? So there are places where riding a bike is feasible in the U.S., and there are places where it's just not possible. My situation, yeah, it's not great. I wish it was. That's one thing I guess I could, complain about is, yeah, I wish the U.S. was more bike-friendly as a whole, right? It's just a cool hobby. It's such a nice way to get around. It'd be really cool, right, if you could, ride your bike to work. I do have a family member that does that, so shout out to my uncle. Like, I think that's awesome of him that he does ride his bike to work, like almost every day, at least when he can. Of course, if it's really bad weather or something, then he doesn't. But yeah, I think that's really cool and rare as an American, right? So I think that's neat and should be a lot more common.
It's a pedal-powered paradise. 18. With their love for cycling, it's no surprise that in the Netherlands, cyclists are legally obligated to have a working bell on their bicycles. The Dutch are also not allowed to ride a bicycle when drunk. 19. Due to the country's flat terrain, the highest point in the Netherlands, standing at approximately 323 meters, is referred to as a mountain. 20.
No kidding.
Although the Dutch country has the highest English proficiency in the world, the Netherlands has only one official language, the Dutch language. It is spoken by at least 95% of the total population, a majority of which also speak English as a second language. 21.
Okay.
In the Netherlands, 1/5 of the population is foreign-born, with over 3 million residents
wow.
representing diverse backgrounds. 22. More than half of the country's immigrants are of non-Western origin, from countries like Turkey, Suriname, and Morocco. This multicultural mix is the reason behind many delicious ethnic foods in major Dutch cities. 23.
Another thing I'd love to explore, right? Street food throughout different countries in Europe. I think that'd be really cool. And that's interesting. He said a fifth, right? So quite a few people immigrate to the Netherlands. That's cool. Notice, one thing with me, I'm not afraid to admit it. I can't say the country right. I am having so much trouble saying the something with my tongue, guys. You can laugh and make fun of me in the comments. I don't care. Like, I'll admit it. I don't know why. I can say a million words, but I can't say the Netherlands. I can't say it.
3.
It's funny.
Did you know that the Dutch
Something with my
invented the
tongue
first
like
stock
has a
market in
stroke
the
when I try
world?
and say it.
The Amsterdam Stock Exchange was invented by Dutch legislators and businessmen back in 1602. 24. The Dutch are the world's tallest people, with an average height of 175.62 centimeters. 25.
That's
the
crazy.
Netherlands is famous for its clean energy initiatives, especially through windmills. The Netherlands is home to over 1,000 windmills, offering visitors the chance to explore these iconic structures all year round. 26.
Nice.
The Dutch always consult their agenda and do not appreciate surprise visits.
Is that? Holy crap, where is this? This is interesting. Interesting looking aesthetic here.
27.
Wow.
Almost all Dutch people can swim, skate, ice skate, and ride a bike. 28. The Dutch have been wearing a pair of wooden clogs since...
These are interesting. What is up with these, right? I think it's safe to say that it's an athletic country. Would that be safe to say? I mean, that's cool, right? Everything I get is like good food, healthy diet, healthy lifestyle, active lifestyle. I mean, geez, that is really neat, dude.
It's medieval times to protect their feet while doing hard labor. However, they aren't worn anymore except in some rural areas. A whopping 6 million souvenir clogs are still produced each year.
29. I mean, so yeah, it is interesting considering like the history with these, right? I mean, be honest though, if you've worn these cannot be comfortable, right?
Are still produced each year. 29.
I don't know.
Besides,
just saying,
the Netherlands is a world leader in producing beer. Popular brands like Heineken and Amstel have originated here. 30. Gin is also
I'm sure they have more brands than that.
Native Dutch products. In fact, the Netherlands is credited with inventing the gin, which was then passed on to the Brits in the 16th century. 31. The national color of the Netherlands is orange, symbolizing the royal House of Orange. 32.
No kidding.
In celebration of their rich heritage, the Dutch proudly don the color orange on days of national pride.
Wow.
And even their sports teams sport vibrant orange.
I was going to say I've noticed that because I know the flag is like, what, red, white, and blue. But then I've always noticed, obviously I'm not a soccer or football fan, but I've seen just clips here and there, of course, on SportsCenter or whatever, like teams from the Netherlands always in like all orange. It actually looks pretty cool, right? The orange and black. But I always thought like, oh, that's not what I would have expected, right? Just because it doesn't like, in a sense, match the flag. Although I remember in history classes, like, didn't the flag used to have orange on it?
Orange uniforms.
They changed it sometime, I think, right?
The Dutch celebrate King's Day on 27th April every year, in which they dress in orange and celebrate their country with outdoor parties, picnics, and parades. 34. The flag of the Netherlands features a horizontal tricolor of red, white, and blue, resembling the French flag turned 90 degrees to the left. 35. According to UNICEF, the Netherlands is one of the best countries for children to live in. 36. The Netherlands has one of the highest concentrations of museums in the world. Rembrandt, Vermeer, Steen, Van Gogh, and Mondrian are some of the most famous Dutch painters. 37.
Quite a roster.
Every city has its own opening hours for shopping on Sundays. 38.
Every city has what? Hold on, what?
Every city has its own opening hours for shopping on Sundays. 38.
Okay, so what's he saying? It just varies by city? Like it's not consistent throughout each city? Like
the Dutch national anthem, the Wilhelmus, was composed in 1572 and is the oldest in the world. 39. Places of worship can be found all across the country, even though the Dutch are quite secular. Only 20% of them attend services on a regular basis. 40. They are the 5th biggest coffee drinkers in the world. 41.
Hey,
1 out of 3 Dutch
I like
belongs
my coffee
to a sports club. 42. The Dutch have the longest average lifespans in the entire world. 43.
Wow.
The Dutch were the first Europeans to discover Australia.
That's right. Any Aussies and Kiwis in the bunch? I mean, there usually is, right? That's one of the cores of this community is Aussies and Kiwis.
43. The Dutch
and
were the...
keep in mind, yep. Not long ago, the Brits didn't come there before the Dutch did. The Dutch got there like almost 100 years before, I think, right?
To discover Australia and New Zealand. 44. The Netherlands is the 4th largest investor in the U.S. 45.
Wow.
Dutch inventions include the compact disc, the microscope,
No
the
way.
telescope, the mercury thermometer, and the artificial heart. 46.
Wow.
The Hague is dubbed the
Pretty
legal
big
capital
stuff.
of the world since 5 international courts are located nearby.
That's a good question. Does anyone use CDs anymore? CDs were so big growing up for me. Like, you know, because I was born in 92 for reference, okay? So, like, throughout the 90s, and then, of course, even in the early thousands, like, CDs were so, like, relevant, right? They were a big part of life. You had everything was CDs, right? You had computer games on CDs. You had PlayStation games. Everything was discs, you know? And, of course, music, right? Everyone bought music CDs. So it's crazy how fast it went from CDs to, like, now everything's digital. Like, I haven't bought a physical video game in forever. And I haven't bought a physical music CD in, I don't even know, probably over 10 years, maybe 15 years. That's pretty crazy to think about. I know it's a little off topic, but it is wild if you think
47.
about it.
The Netherlands proudly holds the distinction of being a founding member of the EU, the NATO, and the OECD. 48. There's a
Nice.
famous myth that in the 17th century, the Netherlands started cultivating orange carrots as a tribute to William of Orange, who led the struggle for Dutch independence. 49. The Netherlands is known to be a progressive and liberal nation, and this is partly due to the fact that the Netherlands was the first country to legalize same-sex marriage in 2001. 50.
No kidding.
As many as 1 in 8 Dutch babies are born at home. This is one of the highest rates of home births in the developed world.
Now that's interesting. Like, why is that? Does anyone know why that would be? That's so interesting. I would have never guessed. Like, some of these facts like that are so random, right?
Rates of home births in the developed world.
Yeah, it's got to be one of the highest rates of home births. That just scares me. I mean, it's not a knock on anyone that does home births at all. It's just so different to me, you know? Just because we've had, of course, like all 3 of our kids' traditional births in like a hospital. So, and to me, it's just such a scary thing. But I mean, damn, more power to you. If you have a home birth, that's really interesting to me. Look, we're going to end it there, guys, because like I always do, show respect to the original video. This was 70 facts, okay? We covered 50 here. So if you want to finish those, which I'm going to finish them for sure later on, these were really interesting. You can look, of course, in the link in the description. Make sure and finish those facts and, of course, browse their channel. That was a great suggestion by Gerben T. It's been a while since we did like a fact video about really anywhere, especially in Europe. So that was cool. It's a really interesting country and a country that I feel like would be great to live in, if I'm being honest, man. If I could just free roam and go wherever right now, that would be top, towards the top of the list as somewhere that would just be great to live in. I'm not gonna lie. Like I've just from the little bit I've seen, it looks like an amazing place. And I like the fact that they're healthy, that they're active, athletic, right? I mean, it just seems like a great lifestyle there. To be biking around in fresh air, man, it sounds like a great thing for sure. and on the flip side, even though you don't necessarily need a car as much there, when you do want to drive a car and stuff, I think I've seen in some interesting videos that aren't they like a little more relaxed on like laws about cars too. Like you can, I know I've seen a channel like you can import American cars there, which is kind of cool. And I think I've just seen other than like having really genius like traffic and infrastructure, which I like and I can appreciate because infrastructure around me is horrible. And I could make a whole video on how bad it is. It seemed to me like it was also a decent country to drive in, even though you don't need to drive. Ironically, it's also a great country to drive in. I think that's what I gathered from a couple videos I've seen. Anywho, look, this is going to be a great video for comments. Did you agree with these? You want to add any more? Did you want to correct any of these? Please do so down below. But that's about all I got for this one, guys. Throw a like on there if you enjoyed this. Subscribe to be part of this amazing community we do have here. And my name is Ian. You're watching IWrocker. And until next time, y'all. Catch you later.